Hey, glory to the King. Glory to the King. Bless you all, Israel. I do pray everybody is doing well today. I truly do. I hope you're having a good day. You're encouraging the Most High. Yeah, I know it's been a minute since I showed my face on Facebook or YouTube, I guess. And quite honestly, quite frankly, it may be a good long while again. And, as is my MO, I don't typically get on here unless I have something that I think needs to be said or something needs to be addressed. And such is the case for this video. So I'd like to talk to you. Actually, what I want to do with this video is I want to put a topic out there, and I want to know what you all think about it. And I want to know your feedback. I want to know that when I've heard this actually said out of the mouth of this person, that it was in fact rooted in the Word, and it wasn't just twisted and distorted and misused just to gain somebody justification and credibility or an acceptance among the people for what they were doing and what they were advocating because it benefited them. And obviously you could tell they enjoyed the limelight. So this topic is talking about that did the disciples really also act as secondary besides being the taught ones, disciples that were there to learn what the Messiah, that were chosen, handpicked by him to hear what he had to say and learn the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven and the words of life? Were they also there to act as armed bodyguards? I mean, was that their purpose also? Because I've heard it said before that every one of the disciples were armed. They all carried swords and they were there to protect Jesus, okay? I mean, how many of y'all heard the same thing out of the pastors over there at Straightway Truth Ministries, Charles Dowell? I mean, people that are from that ministry that might watch this video, I mean, you can't deny that. You heard it there as well. You heard him say it. And so that always kind of piqued my curiosity, how you actually can come out of that with what the book says. How you can actually stand up in front of everybody and invent a pure fiction based on your own mind, trying to prove to the people that you're justified in what you're doing, or you need acceptance from them and you need to make them feel at ease for what you're doing when there's really no book on it at all. I mean, why don't you just go ahead and do it and quit trying to use what the Word has to say to justify it. But anyway, I'm looking for your opinion, not mine, but I might put it in anyway because this is my video. But I can get out of the Gospels, I can actually read in the Word where, at least on 2 occasions, the Messiah Jesus, he was in a situation where the religious order that day, scribes, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the religious leaders, the ones that were over the people, the ones that were governing the people, the ones that expected the people to do whatever they were told because they were in a position of spiritual authority. Those people, right? And on 2 occasions, it's written about, once in the book of Luke and once in the book of John, where Jesus was in the temple. Okay, let's go to the account in Luke. It's in chapter 4, right? He's in the synagogue and he's having a pretty heavy discourse with the religious right of that day, and he pissed him off so bad that they wanted to grab him, run him out of Dodge, so to speak, and throw him right off the edge of a cliff. And so, what does the Bible say? It says that he simply went through the midst of them. So they weren't able to accomplish it at that time. I wonder why, because it wasn't his time. But my question is, if he's armed by 12 disciples, 12 top ones, all carrying swords, acting as a contingency force, as a bodyguard, then why didn't they step it up and do their job? Why didn't they come to his aid? No, he removed himself out of the midst. How about the account in John, when we find in the 8th chapter that Jesus starts out with defending a woman that was caught in the act of adultery. And of course, again, the religious right of that day, they're going to try to bury him with the truth, try to tempt him. And of course, once again, Jesus puts them in their place, calls them out for what they are, calls them out as liars and Satan being their father. And you all know the chapter, right? And of course, they're throwing insults at his. Oh, gee, I wonder if we heard that before. when you ain't got nothing left and you're caught, that's the best you got is insults and character assassinations and putting people down and defaming who they are. And, that's all some people got left when they can't deny what's being said against them is the truth. But anyway, I digress. So in that situation too, that they were so angry at Messiah that the word says they picked up stones to stone him. They were literally going to try to stone him. But again, what happened is, now picture it in your mind, you got who knows how many men with these rocks in their hand because they thinking he's blaspheming and they're about to hurl stones at him. But it says in the word again, he just removed himself right out of the midst. So my question again, you got 12 men supposedly armed, and why didn't they step it up? Why didn't they get in there and defend the Messiah again? Weren't they doing their job as bodyguards? Now what is going on here? Man, that seems off. I mean, if you would think that, they're loyal, they're sworn to the Messiah, that they would run right up there with and they weren't talking to the Romans. They weren't in front of the Romans. They were talking to their own people. So let's get the context right. So what's really going on? And then here's some more word. This is just out of the Gospels. I'm not making anything up. You go check for yourself. In Luke, the 22nd chapter. Now, the story that precedes that, it's the Last Supper. He's with the 12, just his own entourage, just his own bodyguard. And he's with the disciples up in the upper room. And after dinner, he starts speaking to them. And he starts reminding them of, what they had done in the past. When I sent you out 2 by 2, did you lack anything? You didn't go with script. You didn't go with purse. You didn't go with anything that you needed extra. You just went out there by faith, trusting in the Most High to protect you, to keep you, because you're on a mission and on an assignment. And obviously, they weren't carrying swords either, because that's discussed here later. So he brings it up to their memory. And then he says, but I'll tell you what, this time has changed, because they all knew that he was going to be killed. They all knew that it was time, that the Father had put in time for our Messiah to become the Passover lamb, to be put on the stake. And obviously, they don't want it. Well, most of them except for Judas. But anyway, the story. But Jesus said, hey, if you got a garment, if you ain't got a sword, go sell your garment. So you ask yourself, why would he actually bring that up in front of the disciples, the only 12 that are there, already with other people's ideas that they were already armed? Why even bring that up? They must have already sold their cloaks and been armed right from the beginning. They must all carry swords. Okay, so why would Jesus even play? Because he wasn't talking to anybody else. Just the disciples were in that same room with him, because he's preparing them for something else, right? Okay, now get your sword. And then here comes old Peter. I believe it was Peter that he pipes up and said, hey, Jesus, we got 2 swords here. Wait a minute, there's 12 guys there. 12 men there, and they can only cough up 2 swords. Now, wait a minute, I heard it reported that every one of them carried swords. So how do we go from 12 swords down to 2? What happened to the other 10 swords? Maybe they left them at home. I don't know. But that's what I read. And of course, what was Messiah's answer? Man, it's enough. That's more than enough. And if you understand the context behind the whole thing, they knew these disciples all knew that somebody's going to come to get Jesus, that his time was there. And so he just simply saying, hey, if it comes down to it, man, the 2 swords will be suffice, But he also said later on that when he was talking before Pilate, that, if my kingdom were of this earth, then would my servants fight? But it's not. So, but anyway, that's the book I'm using. That's the point I'm using. And to further demonstrate of these great men, these apostles, at least 11 of them, and then Paul when he was at it, you tell me anywhere you can find in there where they had an armed entourage, where they had servants carrying swords to be their personal protection. Anytime. I mean, Paul lists clearly all the afflictions, all the attacks that happened to him. We can see all in the book of Acts where these great men, these men of faith, these men that were poor and destitute, these men that had nothing but faith, where they were taken and put in chains and cast into prisons, threatened with death, gone before, again, religious groups smiting them, and punishing them because they were out there speaking the truth. But where was their armed contingency? I mean, weren't they greater than the people now living today? Any of the pastors, teachers, elders, anybody else? Don't you think so? I mean, these people walked with Messiah, yet they weren't worthy of having an armed entourage? Okay, I'm missing something, but hey, I need y'all, please, if I'm speaking incorrectly, I don't care if you're with Straightway Ministries yet, please do offer up your opinion. You tell me where any place in this that I misrepresented what had been spoken of by that pastor at that ministry, and you all know what we talked about earlier, what I mentioned earlier. Or you in the comments section that have left that place, you tell me. I may have heard wrong. I may not be understanding right. Maybe there's something that I missed. I don't know. Anyway, all right, bless y'all.